Hi, and welcome back to the Maybe I Can podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Weiss. And I got to be honest with you, I just finished recording an episode. And afterwards, I thought, I don't know. I feel like I just repeated the same things. Is there any value in what I said? I'm sure for some people there will be. But I realized when I had a time several months ago where I was trying to decide, should I continue the podcast? Should I not continue the podcast? I honestly, with some self reflection, thought I really don't take enough time to plan and research and figure out what my audience would like to hear and then really prep before the episodes. I would create an outline, but then I would just rant. And when I rant, sometimes I go off on tangents and whatever. And I decided, you know what? The only way that I'm going to continue this podcast is to continue it with being true to myself. And I just feel like the one I just recorded, even though what I said was certainly true to myself, it really wasn't what was on my heart. And so I think going forward, instead of having these parameters in my head, because I'm like, oh, my episode needs to be between 15 and 20 minutes, and what I have to say might be too short, or maybe that's not very helpful. Maybe it is, I think about what's going on in my own life that you can relate to. Because let's face it, that is what's always the most helpful when you hear someone talk about a situation that they're in or how they're feeling. And if that resonates with you, one, it makes you feel like you're not alone. Two, you might glean some kind of advice or idea that might be helpful. So, with that said, moving forward, I'm saying this to you and me simultaneously. If my episodes are 5 minutes, they're 5 minutes because that's what I want to share with you today. And if they're 25 minutes, fantastic. So, I'm going to share with you today what is on my heart and on my mind. And that is, this summer's been super challenging for me. I feel like life has just thrown a lot of curveballs my way. One of the big curveballs has been a lot of things breaking down and needing either repairs or replacements. And the reason that it's a challenge, one, financially, it's been a tremendous challenge. But even more so is the fact that when these things come up, this is something that I am not well versed in. I have no interest in it. And it's one of the things that used to be like my husband's deal, right? Whenever something would break, it'd be like, okay, even if he didn't take care of it, we would talk about it and he'd be like, just call that person. And then when, that repairman came, he would talk to him about it. And that was that. And now I don't have my husband to do those things, right? If you're listening for the first time, I'm a widow. My husband died almost 2.5 years ago now. And this is one of the things that is a real challenge for me. And like I said, I probably have 4 or 5 things in the last 6 weeks that have happened, and some of them pretty major. And then over the last 2 weeks, Yogi, my almost 14-year-old multi-poo, almost died. He had severe pancreatitis, which he had 2 years ago. He almost died then. And he's almost 14. And they didn't want to hospitalize him because he also has heart conditions and anxiety, and being in the hospital wouldn't really be great for him. And so for, I don't know, probably 7 days in a row, I was either with the dog at the vet or the animal hospital. We needed to have injections for 3 days, and whatever, one reason or another, I brought him back. And it got to the point last week where I had to ask the doctor, at what point do I think about the unthinkable, which I'm not even going to say. And it's the first time that I ever asked that. It's the first time that I had to try and come to terms with the realization that he will not live forever. You have to understand, if you're a dog owner, I know that you can relate. This dog has been my companion. He comes with me to my insurance office every day. He has since we got him when he was 8 weeks old. He sleeps with me. He watches me shower. There is really not a time that I'm without him. And when nobody is in my house, he's there with me. So Saturday night, I'm not necessarily lonely because Yogi and I are there together watching TV, or I'm reading, or whatever it is that I'm doing. It's company. And he has been there for me. He's been like my surrogate partner, well, for years, but in particular since Gary died. It's he and I, we're a team. I talk to him. He doesn't really give me a lot of answers. Sometimes he'll just give me the side eye, but he's my companion. And so that has been really difficult. And the week before he got sick, thank goodness it didn't happen when we were away. I was away with my kids and one of my son's girlfriends, and we met my brother and some of his grown kids and one of his grandchildren down at Myrtle Beach for a week. And it was a really great time. But there was a little bit of my own family drama. And it created some tense circumstances that were stressful. What can I say? And last week, let me give you an update on Yogi. See, here I am all over the place. I told you I would ramble. Thank goodness, Yogi must have known the conversations that I was having, because about 2 days later, he stopped trembling. The trembling was pain. He became himself again. He was going through his toys, and he just, you could see he was different and he felt better. So if you can hear that, that's knock on wood, that continues. So far, so good. So I'm thrilled about that. But while this was all happening, I had to record the podcast. There's so many, I don't know why I'm saying just the podcast. I'm working on a gratitude journal. I'm working on changing my website and changing something to do with all of my speaking marketing materials, which is quite time consuming. Of course, I have my regular job, and I just felt exhausted. And that exhaustion, it was very difficult for me to give into the exhaustion. I felt guilty. I was telling myself, you've just been on vacation for a week. You can't take the time now to sit around and do nothing. By doing nothing, binge watching something, reading, not doing nothing, but not doing what I was thinking I needed to do, which is really self-inflicted, right? And I think that so often we do this, especially as women. We just feel like we don't have a choice. We have to go on. And it's not somebody else who is putting these constraints on us. It's us. It's like we're not allowed to be sick. We're not allowed to be tired. And I think actually getting sick, sometimes I've seen in the past when looking back on my patterns, that when I don't listen to my body, when I don't take the rest that it's telling me that I need, what happens? I do become sick, sometimes so sick that, okay, now I have no choice but to rest, right? Because my body needs it and I'm not giving my body what it needs. And what happens if I don't listen? I get sick, or every day, am I really accomplishing anything? And if I am, is it the way or the quality that I would like? Probably not, because I'm just going through the motions. And so I gave myself some grace and I said, listen to what your body is telling you. It doesn't matter that you didn't do anything last week when you were on vacation. It doesn't matter that I had a long list of things to do. I listened, particularly last weekend. I really did nothing. As a matter of fact, I wanted to record the podcast over the weekend. And on Saturday, I knew there was a reason I didn't do it. I don't even remember what it was. And so I was going to do it on Sunday. And then the next thing you know, I go to bed on Sunday night and realized, oh no, I never recorded it because I was giving in to what my body needed. So, with that said, I want you to think about that. Do you do the same thing where you just keep going because you feel guilty? Don't do it. Trust me. Pay attention to the signs that your body is giving you. You'll appreciate it in the long run. You'll be giving yourself a gift. And I'm telling you, you'll be more productive. You'll be happier if you listen to your cues. Okay, that's what I got. That's my rant for today. I hope that little sprinkle of something sparks something inside of you.